Hey guys, I am Greg. I am a junior here at Princeton and a private college admissions consultant. For those of you that are subscribed to the channel, you probably know I have not done an interview style format video before, but today as a very special video topic, we're going to be talking about U.S. college admissions for international students. I've gotten a lot of requests for this kind of video, but obviously I'm not an international student, so until today I haven't been able to help you guys out. But today we're lucky enough to have Monica and Ananya on the show, and so they're going to introduce themselves and we'll get started and start answering some of your questions.
Hi, my name is Monica. I'm a junior in the physics department here at Princeton. I'm originally from Romania in Eastern Europe, and I'm really excited to get to answer some of your guys' questions.
Hi, I'm Ananya. I'm a sophomore in the chemistry department here at Princeton. And really love the Princeton experience, and just university life in the US is awesome.
Alright, so we're going to start with a question from Dreams Edition. So Dreams Edition says, I am from Quebec in Canada and I speak French. I can speak in English, write a text. I mean, I'm not a beginner, but I'm not 100% bilingual either. I would like to study at universities in the US, but I wanted to know if universities look at our level in English and if it could have an influence on my application for admission.
So I would definitely say that they definitely do look at your English proficiency, but it doesn't necessarily matter how good you are at English as long as you can be in the classroom and understand what's going on without any further assistance. There's always room for improvement, but I would say that when I started as a freshman, my English was a lot worse than it is now, and I'm a junior, so I've been here in the United States for 2.5 years now, and that definitely helps. Just talking to your peers, outside of the classroom definitely helps a lot.
I think you have to give the TOEFL. I had to give the TOEFL.
Yeah.
And there's another option instead of the TOEFL. It's called the IELTS. Yeah. So if you can, it's a pretty easy test for most of us who are applying, because we write essays for our applications, and usually, people pass these two tests without problem. Yeah, and spell check your essays.
Yeah.
That applies to you students in the US as well.
Yeah. If you're applying for a STEM-related major, your English level isn't as important as when you're applying for a humanities type of major. So if you want to do math or physics or computer science,
chemistry.
Or chemistry, that's very true. Your skill in that particular area is way more important than your English level, because that is something that you can learn as you go, as opposed to chemistry or physics is way harder to learn on the go.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing is that more and more universities are now asking for a graded assignment in English. So submit your best work even if you don't have the best grade, because that, I think, reflects on just the system that you've been graded in. So if you have written something that you think is really good but have not received a good grade on it, I think that's something good for you.
Alright, so let's move on to the second question. So this one comes from Ankit Parmar, who says, are international students at a disadvantage when applying to highly selective schools, or is everyone considered in the same applicant pool? And also, if my school does not have an AP program, will that affect the status of my application?
I asked this to one of my interviewers, and he flat out told me that yes, international students are at a disadvantage compared to the US national students. And this makes a lot of sense, and he explained it to me, and I wasn't even annoyed or anything about it, because Indian universities will have more seats reserved for Indians than for non-Indians, because it's an Indian university. Therefore, it makes sense for US universities to have fewer open positions for international students. And the competition is not low.
Yeah.
Anything about the AP program? No.
Oh, yeah, APs. Right, so I didn't take APs, and honestly, it was a big mistake. My school did not offer the AP program. I followed the Indian education system. But if you can take the APs on your own after completing 12th grade, I suggest you should, especially if you're a STEM major, because then you get to place out of intro classes for many universities, which you should check, because intro classes may not be the most fun. But, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I would say, at Princeton, we have about 10% international students, and the competition is way higher. Maybe not way higher, but like definitely
Significant.
at least just as competitive as for domestic students, simply because there are fewer seats, and I would say probably like just as many students interested in applying. So it's definitely more competitive, but that shouldn't let you down, because a lot of the universities like are trying to bring in more international students to increase their diversity. So it's definitely like a momentum that you should try and take advantage of. My school didn't offer APs as well, and I didn't take any AP classes, and I still ended up at Princeton. So I don't think that's necessarily something that will be a deal breaker for universities. It's definitely helpful if you can take them, but I wouldn't like completely, give up on applying for to a U.S. university if you don't take any AP classes during high school.
Yeah.
Before we get into the rest of the video, I want to talk a little bit about today's video sponsor, Bullseye Admissions. Bullseye Admissions is a college admissions and test prep company working with students from all over the world and the United States. They specialize in elite university admissions, helping students get into places like Stanford, Princeton, Yale, Harvard, USC, NYU, and a lot of other schools on the US News Top 20 list. This year alone, Bullseye's clients have received admissions to places like University of Pennsylvania, Stanford University, Bowdoin College, University of Virginia, and University of Michigan. How it works is you get matched with a personalized admissions coach who is a graduate of an Ivy League university trained in admissions strategy. They will help you one-on-one over video chat to write your essays, help you select schools to apply to, and maximize your chances of getting in. Bullseye's program for international students covers personal statement writing, supplemental essay editing, application strategy, scholarship applications, financial aid, and interview prep. Guys, there's a reason why 3,000 students have signed up for Bullseye in the last year alone. They care deeply about their student success and want to see you get into your dream school. Click on the first link in the video description right now to get your free session before they run out. I promise that it's worth it. So this one's from Jonathan Simonson. Jonathan says, I'm an international student who intends to apply to several Ivy League schools this year. However, I'm just a bit curious regarding the letters of recommendation, as this is not a thing in my home country. How many of these do you need, and do you happen to have any advice for teachers regarding how to write such letters of recommendation?
I was pretty fortunate because my physics teacher, who ended up being my counselor, had her son study at a university in the United States. He actually studied at Princeton, which is kind of crazy.
Ooh, wow.
And he ended up studying physics, which is
amazing.
so
there you
crazy. But she knew a lot about letters of recommendation. But usually you need about, I would say, 3 letters of recommendation on average. Per university, and they can be, very general, so that professors can submit 1 letter of recommendation on common application, and then you can forward that to more universities. But in general, like, tips that I have are definitely going to professors that have given letters of recommendations in the past, and if they don't know how that looks like, definitely provide them with some examples that you can find, on the internet or from some other professors, because sometimes they just might not know what to write in a letter of recommendation. Really, really important, and this is very, very important, go to professors that actually know you on a more personal level, because it is very easy to write a letter of recommendation that sounds like they come to class and they do their homework, period, because a professor that doesn't know you might not have anything else to say about you, but a professor that knows you a little bit, beyond just the classroom may say stuff like, well, they're really passionate about this, so they came to my office hours and they talked to me about this. They came up with this really cool project idea, and that shows a lot more than just the fact that you went to class and you did your homework. And another really, really important thing, which I think is a big part of, like international students' experiences, is go to your English teacher, because they are they're much better at writing letters of recommendation in English than, let's say, your math or physics teacher.
Also, I think you need one humanities or social studies like letter of recommendation now for some universities.
Yeah.
English teachers, yes.
Yeah.
But also, it would be helpful if you can ask your teacher to write something about the curriculum that you're doing, if you're not doing like a standard AP, IB, or a standard like country-wide curriculum or something, and like talk about how it might be challenging in certain ways.
Right. Our next question comes from Sneha Shrestha. And her question is it even possible for international students to apply for financial aid and get into top colleges? Could you please discuss the do's and don'ts for those international students applying for aid? So Monica, take it away.
Sure. So yes, it is definitely possible. I'm a student on financial aid here at Princeton, and I have to admit that given everything that happened, I probably wouldn't be able to apply and also attend Princeton without this generous financial aid program. So I'm really, really grateful for that. Some do's, definitely make sure you have all your paperwork done and know what type of paperwork you should have ready by the deadline, because it is definitely way different than what domestic students have to prepare when applying for financial aid. Definitely be honest. Universities usually offer you more than you need. I would say that's definitely how my case and some of the cases that I found out look like. So make sure you put everything in your application, you have all of your assets, and you have your parents, get all the documents that you need ready for that, and make sure that usually I would say universities offer you financial aid for just 1 year, and then you have to reapply. So once you get there and you're a freshman and then you want to apply for financial aid for sophomore year, make sure you do that in time. That's a really, really big thing, because if you miss the deadline and you don't get financial aid for sophomore year, then it might be really, really difficult, absolutely, I would say almost impossible to continue your studies. I personally don't know a lot about this, but I know the FAFSA application is a big part of financial aid. Princeton, however, has a special financial aid application that doesn't go through FAFSA, and where you don't actually have to pay that specific amount that FAFSA asks you to pay, and you can just do that for free. So I applied through that, but it really depends on the university. So I would say, for example, Princeton has their own financial aid application where you don't necessarily have to pay a fee to apply, so it's totally free, but it really depends on the college. So make sure you know that kind of information beforehand so that you know what forms you need to fill out before you apply.
Great. So we have one more question here. This one comes from Rachna Prasad, who wants to know, some international students are from high schools that offer less than a fraction of the opportunities that regular American high schools offer. So how do we build on our passions and extracurriculars when we've barely had a chance to discover them?
So what I did was I just read a lot. I read about all the research that is happening in India, things that are happening in the US, and I tried to identify things that I would possibly, be interested in. And then I looked up the universities and institutes around where I live, my high school, and tried to see if I could do a project with them, or if they had an open house or something. It was still good getting to know professors and other students who are in college, because they can help open opportunities that you wouldn't otherwise find. You will not believe what a simple Arduino board can do for you if you're interested in that. I was interested in that. I ended up building my own stuff by ordering things off Amazon. So opportunities are there. You just have to look, you got the internet at your disposal. Try to find something that you can work with if your school doesn't offer it.
If you're really passionate about something and it's not offered at your school, definitely go and talk to a professor that you think might be interested in facilitating that, and then look on Amazon and see, what do I need to make this happen? Well, those 3 things, can I actually buy them? Can I get funding through my high school to do this? And then get a couple of interested classmates and then make it happen.
Yeah.
It is very true that international high schools sometimes did not offer as many opportunities as some of the more popular high schools in the US, but that doesn't mean that you don't have all the, let's say, necessary grounds to make it happen yourself. And I think it can actually come into your advantage if you make it happen yourself, given the fact that you didn't have something already kind of laid out for you to make that happen, because it shows a lot of leadership. It shows a lot of power into taking initiative and making things happen yourself, which is something that American universities love to see about students. So I would totally recommend that, and definitely find those teachers that are willing to do stuff outside of the classroom. And sometimes it might be hard because teachers have their own lives outside of high school. and they might not necessarily be as excited about a certain project as you are, but there will be those teachers that will be super excited. And I was really, really grateful to find this amazing physics teacher. She is like my mentor. She's like my second mom, basically, and she's the reason why I'm at Princeton today. But she was super into just like doing stuff outside of the classroom, and she like showed me so many different opportunities. So let's say if you're really passionate about physics, you might want to do some like physics or engineering projects throughout high school, and they don't have to be, you don't have to send the rocket in space. Like you can do something else that's not as big, but that still shows that you're really passionate about this. And colleges will appreciate that because they will say, look, like even though she didn't necessarily have like the grounds to do this, she took initiative and ended up making it happen. So
it's okay to have passions outside what you want to pursue. I think I'd say that you can do something big with that if you want to, for your application or for your general interest, which
it's important too.
Just like, I don't know, if you're passionate about something which doesn't happen to be what you want to pursue for the rest of your life, that is okay. Work on that passion, because chances are that just your feeling for that thing will shine through your application.
Yeah, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. A lot of what I teach and talk about on this YouTube channel is really finding those passions that you have, whether they're something you want to pursue as a career or not. And rather than spreading yourself really thin and working on a lot of different things, but not really getting very far in them, just creating opportunities in those things that you love. No more specific questions, but is there anything we didn't cover today, just general tips for international students applying to the US that you think the people out there should know?
Don't necessarily focus on a university because of its name. Try to look up stuff about the university and see if it would really be a good fit for you in terms of not just the academics. Like obviously academics are important, but you will have to live there for the next 4 years of your life. So it's really important to know how the social life is like, how the living like residential life is like, how the dining scene is like. Like those are really important things that I personally didn't think of when I applied to college in the US, and I wish I did, because those are really, really important and like huge things in my life right now. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is, we talk a lot about the numbers and like how there aren't that many international students in universities as domestic students, which we said makes sense, but don't let that discourage you. Just focus on the things that you really want to do, and if you really want to apply to a college in the US, try to make it happen, do your best to make it happen, get everything that you have, and work on it, and I'm sure that will pay off well.
And also, like, don't do something for your application. Do it because you want to do it because you are passionate about it. Like, I have seen so many people set up non-governmental organizations just for the sake of it, or because it'll help their application. And then I've seen people who like really want to help people, who have like gone out there and put hours of like sweat and effort. And I don't know, I feel like those people, the second class of people, have felt more rewarded, because the university application and admission system can sometimes leave you hanging, can sometimes make you question everything. But you should like come out of it feeling happy with what you've done, I think, because we'll all go to university somewhere.
Thank you guys so much for coming on today. Super excited to get this video out to my subscribers. They're probably pretty bored of me at this point, but Princeton is an extremely busy place. These guys are STEM majors too, so it takes a lot to come out here and show your face on YouTube. So thank you guys so much, and I really hope this video is helpful for you guys.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
Hey, thank you guys again for watching the video. I really hope you liked the interview format. Let me know in the comments what you liked about this video, what you didn't, and if you're an international student, what is your top choice US college? Also, don't forget to check out Bullseye Admissions, first link in the video description. They're an amazing company, and I plan to work with them long term because they bring accessibility to college admissions, and that's something that I've been super passionate about on my channel. So, see you guys next week. Thanks again for watching.